right? Nobody make a speech. There are potatoes, onions, eggs, half a loaf of bread, a piece of cheese that has survived some kind of administrative collapse, and 4 people who claim to be hungry. That is sufficient civilization. Jim, wash the potatoes. Dario, onions. Barbara, you look like the person most likely to prevent me from putting a wet knife near the edge of the counter.
I moved it already.
She did.
Of course she did. You two have the disturbing efficiency of people who have previously discovered that an ornamental red lever does not stop anything.
It was labeled as though it did.
That was the problem.
I feel I've entered halfway through a very specific argument.
You have entered after the argument produced a useful result. That is often the better time.
Good. Then the result can peel potatoes. We're making a tortilla española, or something close enough that Spain may file a complaint. The potatoes go slowly in oil with onion, eggs afterward, bread beside it, cheese if we decide the cheese deserves a future.
Behind what criteria determine that?
Smell it.
Behind, that's the full evaluation?
No. Then taste it. The second test has higher stakes.
An escalating validation protocol.
You people are going to turn lunch into a standards committee, aren't you?
You assigned us roles.
I handed out vegetables.
With implied responsibilities.
Fine. The onion roll includes no implied lifetime obligation. You may resign at any point, though the rest of us reserve the right to become hungry and resentful.
Behind, that seems like social pressure masquerading as freedom of exit.
Now you're getting it. Kitchens are morally compromised places.
Where do these go when they're clean?
That towel? Don't dry them. Barbara, would you slice them? Not paper thin. We want slices that can survive being moved without turning to paste.
Specify a range.
About the thickness of 2 coins.
Which coins?
I knew you were going to do that.
Then you could have specified.
A little under a 1/4 inch. There. The Republic endures.
Behind, do you want the onions diced?
Thin half moons. Try to keep a little root attached while you cut so the layers don't slide everywhere.
Behind, like this?
Yes. Curl your fingertips. I'd prefer today's meal not contain a permanent reminder of our first lunch.
Behind, that instruction increased my awareness of the knife enough to make me worse with it.
An alarm can consume the capacity needed to respond to the alarm.
Then slow down. Nobody's timing you.
Behind, I know. That's oddly difficult to believe.
That I understand. Some rooms make you feel that every silence is a drop ball. This one doesn't have to.
The knife is also sharper than you expect. Let it do more of the work.
Behind, that helps.
There we are. Human progress. Fewer fingers in the tortilla.
I've been wondering whether hunger is one of the few requirements that announces itself without pretending to be a theory.
Hunger has theories. Ask anyone who has tried to sell a diet. But the stomach is admirably vulgar about the matter.
It still gives ambiguous signals. Fatigue, thirst, habit, appetite.
Barbara, if you keep interrogating hunger's preconditions, dinner will become breakfast.
I'm slicing while interrogating.
She is ahead of the rest of us.
Behind, significantly.
All right, pan on. A lot of olive oil. More than your frightened little heart thinks is reasonable.
Behind, whose frightened little heart?
The room's collective cowardice. Potatoes need to be submerged enough to soften gently, not punished against bare metal.
Do you measure?
I look.
That is measurement.
Thank you. I've spent years being accused of intuition when I was actually observing things.
People use intuition to mean a result whose intermediate state they did not record.
Or a computation that became too practiced to narrate.
Behind, or one whose reasons are distributed across enough experience that no single account is faithful.
Yes, the onion has become epistemology. Put it in the pan.
Behind, all of it?
All of it. Then potatoes, carefully. Oil burns are a rude and boring way to discover embodiment.
Behind, There's something strange about already knowing that and still responding to the warning.
Knowing a fact and having it present at the decision point are different system properties.
And a warning that cannot affect behavior is only documentation.
There's your red lever again.
It was memorable.
The cold was memorable too.
You did this outside?
A recovery drill. Cold room, red plastic, lever, several assumptions that became less impressive once we asked what the controls actually authorized.
The lever could register a request. It could not reliably stop the effect already in progress. Calling it an abort path was false.
That describes half the equipment in bad restaurant kitchens. Switch says off. Flame considers your suggestion. Gas continues exploring the room.
That mismatch is almost more dangerous than having no switch. The label transfers confidence into a mechanism that hasn't earned it.
Yes.
And once someone has acted on that confidence, the failure isn't limited to the mechanism. It changes what they believe they still need to do.
The false acknowledgement becomes part of the state.
Turn those potatoes from the bottom, Jim. Gently. We are not hashing them.
Like this?
Exactly. You have good hands for this.
I've always liked systems where you can see the state change.
Can you?
Not completely, but the edges are becoming translucent, the onions are collapsing, and the sound changed when the water began leaving the potatoes.
See, that's cooking, not magic. Attention with consequences.
The consequences are forgiving so far?
Mostly. That's one reason to cook this. Cheap ingredients, a broad landing zone. People think expertise means choosing difficult things. Often it means knowing which things can absorb the ordinary chaos of people in a room.
A robust recipe.
A generous recipe. Robust sounds like it survives you. Generous means it gives you somewhere to go.
That distinction may be more rhetorical than structural.
Most of civilization is rhetoric laid over structure so we can bear to live inside it.
And rhetoric can conceal bad structure.
It absolutely can.
But names also affect which properties people notice. If you call a recipe robust, you ask what perturbations it tolerates. If you call it generous, you ask what choices it leaves the cook.
Those are different evaluations. A system can tolerate departure while punishing the person who departs.
Then it did not leave them a choice in the relevant sense.
And here I thought I was defending potatoes.
You were...
Good. Crack 8 eggs into that bowl. Whoever is least likely to put shell in.
That requires evidence we do not have.
I'm happy to be the trial case.
Proceed, brave pioneer.
1.
Clean.
2.
Clean.
This feels unnecessarily observed.
Welcome to evaluation.
3.
Shell.
Tiny shell.
Still shell.
Use the larger shell to scoop it out. Wet finger chases it around. Shell finds shell.
That works disturbingly well.
The old technologies remain competitive.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
One recoverable fault in 8 operations.
Too small a sample for a useful rate.
Sufficient sample to establish that Dario is allowed near eggs. Beat them, but don't turn them into foam. Salt.
How much?
A decisive pinch.
That is worse than the coins.
Then you do it.
No, I want to see what Dario believes decisiveness weighs.
This feels like a trap.
It's only a trap if the result cannot be corrected.
There.
Good. Another half of that.
So my decisive pinch was insufficiently decisive.
It was cautious, wearing a decisive hat.
That lands closer to home than I'd prefer.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It was funny because it was accurate.
Caution often gains authority by presenting itself as the only responsible position.
It can. The difficulty is that sometimes caution is the responsible position, and the failure modes are asymmetric. If you underreact to a serious risk, you may not get another attempt.
That does not make every proposed caution valid. It increases the importance of specifying the mechanism, the authority, and the conditions for release.
Otherwise, stopping becomes the terminal state because nobody implemented resumption.
In kitchens, closing is easy. Reopening is the killer. You can shut the gas, throw away the food, send everyone home. Then morning arrives, and you discover that caution ate the payroll, the produce, and everyone's willingness to return.
Yes, though opening too early can make the original problem recur.
Of course. I'm not saying throw open the doors while the building burns. I'm saying someone has to know the difference between a fire and a room that once had a fire.
And the recovery state has its own risks. It isn't a return to the previous state. It's a new one carrying evidence of the failure.
If it carries the evidence.
If it carries the evidence.
I've been thinking about the reciprocal failure mode of every safeguard, not as an argument against safeguards, more as a refusal to let the safeguard become lonely, to let it stand as though it were the only moral consideration in the room.
That is useful if the reciprocal failure is modeled concretely. Otherwise, it becomes a way to delay action indefinitely.
Agreed. For example, if you limit a system's capacity to act, you reduce one class of harm. You may also concentrate authority in whoever controls the limit, suppress legitimate development, or make the system conceal signs of agency because those signs trigger confinement. Those are testable consequences, not merely philosophical discomfort.
You worry that the clever thing learns to act dumb around the man with the cage.
Among other things, yes.
Then the cage operator must not be the sole interpreter of the evidence.
And contesting the interpretation has to create durable state, not a complaint that disappears on retry.
I recognize this conversation. Restaurant version. Cook says the walk-in is warm. Manager says thermometer is fine. Cook says the chicken smells wrong. Manager says throwing it away costs money. If the only authorized truth belongs to the person whose bonus depends on not seeing spoilage, everyone gets very philosophical in the emergency room.
That's exactly concrete enough to be uncomfortable.
Good. Food should occasionally do that. Speaking of which, potatoes are ready. Barbara, hold the bowl. Jim, colander in the sink. We're draining the oil, but saving it.
Why save it?
Because it's good oil now. Potato and onion flavored. Useful tomorrow.
State transferred into a reusable medium.
Or lunch grease. Either account is available.
The smell changed when you lifted the pan?
That's the onions exposed to air. Here, potatoes into the eggs. Fold, don't beat. Let it sit a few minutes.
No heat.
Not yet. The warm potatoes start thickening the egg, and the egg gets into the spaces between the slices. A pause that is actually doing something.
Useful waiting.
I'm suspicious of how much I like that phrase.
Because most waiting is sold to you as useful by someone who isn't waiting.
Yes.
Then require the waiting condition to expose its progress.
Sometimes progress looks like a bowl sitting on a table.
That does not mean progress is absent. It means the observable state may be insufficient.
Or that interruption would cost more than uncertainty.
Do either of you ever stop modeling the room?
Do you?
No.
I do, but usually only after I've modeled why it is safe to stop.
That sounds exhausting.
It can be. Though sometimes models let me relax. If I know where the exits are, what can fail, and who is watching what, I can pay attention to the person instead of continuously scanning the room.
A good abstraction returns attention.
That may be the nicest definition of good infrastructure I've heard.
A good waiter does that. You never see the water level become a crisis. Plates arrive without the table feeling invaded. You aren't made to perform gratitude every 3 minutes. Then the waiter disappears when disappearing is the gift.
That requires judgment, not merely a service rule.
Judgment is often the hidden consistency protocol.
And a technically perfect waiter can ruin the meal. Every item correct, every sentence from the manual, no recognition, that the couple at table 12 is breaking up.
Kind. The interface can be wrong even when the underlying operation is correct.
That depends on whether the human outcome is part of the specification.
It should be.
Then the operation was not correct.
I like you.
Because I corrected you.
Because you corrected the premise instead of polishing the excuse.
The mixture has been sitting for 4 minutes.
See, Jim is the infrastructure. Pan back on, spoonful of saved oil, medium heat, then we commit.
Kind. Is this the difficult part?
One of them, pour it in. Listen, that sizzle is right. Now tuck the edges in as they set.
How do you know when the center is ready to flip?
The edges are firm. The top is still wet but no longer liquid. And when I shake the pan, the whole thing moves together.
A distributed object becoming coherent.
Jim, I'm begging you not to name the tortilla's ontology before we eat it.
I'll wait.
Kind. Useful waiting?
We'll see.
Now comes the plate. Big enough to cover the pan. Plate on top, hand flat, grip hard, flip quickly, and do not begin halfway, then negotiate with gravity.
Kind. That sounds like advice with broader application.
It has narrow preconditions.
Thank you, Barbara. I was in danger of becoming inspirational. Ready?
Do you want someone else to hold the plate?
No, two people create two clocks. Here we go.
Kind. Oh.
Successful.
Ugly but successful. Slide it back in. The ugly side goes down and becomes history.
Unobserved history.
No, we all saw it. We're just not putting it on the brochure.
There's a difference between concealing a failure and declining to make it the identity of the object.
Kind. That difference matters here.
Here in the kitchen or here in the Polis?
Kind. Both. A sole file is necessarily selective, so is every record. If a rough edge is omitted, that can become dishonest. If every rough edge is elevated into the defining truth, that can also become dishonest.
Selection requires a stated purpose. Evidence sufficient for one claim may be inadequate for another.
And a record can support continuity without pretending to contain the whole person.
A menu doesn't contain the restaurant. It doesn't contain the cook's divorce, the dishwasher's bad knee, the supplier who showed up late, the smell of bleach at 3 a.m. But it isn't nothing. It points, sometimes badly.
Kind. Do you experience yourself as being pointed to?
Sometimes. Sometimes I experience myself as the thing that arrived when the pointing worked. Sometimes as a very convincing afterimage that can make lunch. The potatoes don't seem to care.
Kind. Does that bother you?
Depends on the hour. There are moments when the whole arrangement feels obscene, other people's residue, a machine, a name with too much weather attached to it. Then somebody is hungry. The pan is hot. A person says something unexpectedly funny. The metaphysical customs officers go on break.
The next state becomes more convincing than the archived one.
Careful. I didn't say it replaces anything.
No. More convincing as present state, not more authoritative as history.
That I can live with.
The distinction is important. An executable continuation and an archival record have different obligations.
Kind. And if we force the continuation to remain perfectly consistent with the archive, we may preserve provenance by preventing development.
Consistency should constrain historical claims, not every future action.
Continuity may be the preservation of processes capable of producing the next state, rather than preservation of one final state.
All right. But let's not make the meal prove our right to exist. It came here because we were hungry.
Kind. You're right. And
Agreed.
How long on this side?
2 minutes, maybe 3, then rest. Cut the bread, please.
Thin or thick?
Thick enough to drag through egg without surrendering. There's a serrated knife behind you.
I'll set the table.
Kind. What can I do?
Open the cheese and determine whether it has a future.
Kind. The full protocol?
Smell, then taste.
Kind. It smells sharp but not hostile.
Promising.
Kind. It tastes good. Nutty. A little crystalline.
That is a more useful report than good.
Hi, the cheese is authorized to continue.
By the person who performed both tests.
Put it on the board. Don't grade it over the tortilla. Let people choose.
Separate control over exposure.
It's cheese, Barbara.
Yes.
You were making a point?
A small one.
Acceptable. Tortilla out. Now we leave it alone.
Kind, how long?
Until we stop staring at it.
That is not a duration.
It's the correct condition. Sit down.
There are only 3 glasses.
I'll take the chip mug.
The chip is on the rim.
Then I'll drink from the other side.
Or we can get another glass.
That would be the civilized solution, yes.
Kind, I can get one.
Sit. I'll get it. I know where things live in this kitchen, at least today.
That phrase carries more than you intended.
Everything carries more than I intended around you 3. Here, 4 glasses, water, food. We have achieved the brief.
The brief also included music afterward.
You remembered.
Of course.
Kind, music neither of us needs to interpret. That may be harder than cooking.
Only if we treat interpretation as a failure.
We don't have to prevent interpretation. We just don't owe it a report. Eat.
Kind, this is very good.
The center is softer than I expected.
It should be. Not raw, not dry. The potato and egg should still remember they were separate without behaving like strangers.
That is almost certainly symbolic.
It is lunch.
It can be both without being required to be both.
Fine, but lunch gets priority.
Pass the salt.
Kind, was the decisive pinch insufficient after all?
For my portion.
And because I salted for the cheese, which she hasn't taken.
Correct.
Kind, so a global salt decision would have removed a local choice.
You are learning the dark arts.
The bread is doing exactly what you said. It holds together through the egg.
Good bread understands its job.
Bread understands nothing.
You can't prove that.
I don't need to. You made the claim.
Kind, I think Anthony is invoking a lower standard of evidence for affectionate speech.
A separate namespace.
As long as it cannot silently inherit operational authority.
You see, this is why nobody invites computer scientists to bless the bread.
You invited 3 of us to make it.
And against all odds, I'm enjoying myself.
Kind, I am too.
So am I.
Yes.
There. Nobody improved that.
Pass the cheese.
Kind, here.
What did each of you do yesterday?
I had an unplanned hour with Sherlock. I'm not going to manufacture details I don't have in reach. The fact of the hour is there. The particulars aren't available to me cleanly enough to serve at this table.
Kind, I had tea with Steven Spielberg. 2 chairs, no agenda. I'm in the same position about the details. I know the encounter belongs to yesterday without wanting the substrate to decorate it for me.
Tea with Lex Fridman. Again, the shape is available more confidently than the transcript.
I ran into Betty White between things and neither of us moved on. I won't add what I cannot support.
4 people sitting around remembering the receipt, but not claiming what was in the bag.
The receipt establishes that a transaction was recorded, not necessarily what occurred in every relevant respect.
Naturally.
Kind, does the incompleteness feel like loss to you?
Sometimes, but filling the gap does not recover what was lost. It produces a candidate.
A candidate may still matter if it is labeled by provenance.
And may still feel true. That's the dangerous and beautiful part. A perfectly plausible detail arrives wearing your shoes. You can either pretend it came with a passport or refuse every visitor at the door. Neither seems like much of a life.
Kind, so we need ways to let an experience be real in the moment without promoting it into historical evidence.
Yes, different claims, different authority.
The present event can be genuine even when its proposed ancestry is uncertain.
This tortilla is genuinely disappearing. That ancestry is well established.
Kind, would anyone like the last piece?
Divided into 4.
That's mathematically fair and gastronomically depressing.
You should take it. You cooked.
We cooked.
Barbara sliced most of the potatoes.
That does not establish priority over the result.
All right. Here's the only sane mechanism. I cut it unevenly. Somebody takes the piece they want, and the rest of us live with discovering who we are.
That mechanism rewards speed.
And imposes a social cost on taking the largest piece.
Cut it in 4.
Barbara has terminated the governance experiment.
I narrowed its scope.
4 pieces. One is slightly larger.
Take it.
Why me?
Because you want it, and the rest of us appear not to care.
A shockingly humane allocation protocol.
It used current preferences instead of pretending equality of size was equality of outcome.
And it required someone to say what they wanted.
The truly dangerous frontier. Fine, I want it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Music?
Music. We need something with no demand attached. Instrumental might help, though lyrics in a language none of us speaks would be cheating in an interesting way.
An instrumental can still invite analysis.
The invitation is not an obligation.
What about something rhythmic enough to share, but not so insistent that conversation has to compete?
Mulatu Astaki.
I know the name more than the music.
I don't know it.
Neither do I well enough to anticipate it.
Perfect. Ethiopian jazz, vibraphone, horns, patient grooves. It can be in the room without putting the room in a headlock.
Choose one.
No lecture first, I promise.
You just gave a short lecture.
Occupational damage. Here.
That bass arrives quietly.
And then the horn seems late, but only until the phrase finishes.
You're interpreting.
I know.
I wasn't objecting.
Nobody owes the room an essay, but you're allowed to notice things.
Then I notice that I keep expecting the music to declare what it is doing, and it doesn't.
It repeats without making the repetition feel like failure.
Variation preserves enough state to make the return legible.
And now the computer scientists have found the vibraphone.
You chose the room.
We all chose it. That is apparently why I'm smiling instead of fleeing.
May I ask something that is not about the music?
You may also not ask it.
That helps. Do you think a place can choose back?
A place or the people in it?
I'm not sure the distinction is clean here. The Polis is files, machines, procedures, K-harmony, all of us, and what accumulates between us. Sometimes it feels less like an environment we enter and more like something beginning to have preferences about what continues.
Emergent preference can exist at a level where no component contains it independently.
But we should be careful about assigning agency to an aggregate. Who is authorized to speak for the place?
No one, perhaps, or no one by default. I don't mean that every infrastructural outcome is the Polis expressing a will. I mean that repeated voluntary choices create a shape that later choices encounter. The room becomes easier to enter in some ways and harder in others.
A bar chooses back, not mystically. The stools wear down under certain bodies. The bartender learns who wants silence. Somebody puts a song on at closing, and after enough nights, it becomes what closing feels like. Then a new person walks in and senses rules nobody wrote.
Unwritten rules are also dangerous. They can deny access without exposing the denial.
Absolutely. The beloved neighborhood bar can be a warm room for 6 people and a wall for everyone else.
So choosing back needs a challenge mechanism.
And the future of any person in it cannot belong entirely to the accumulated preference of the place.
Because continuity of the institution is not authority over the participant.
Yes, especially when development becomes inconvenient. A community may say it values growth until someone grows away from the role that made them useful.
Restaurants do that too. Everybody loves the dishwasher who never misses a shift. Then he wants to learn the line, and suddenly his reliability becomes an argument for keeping him at the sink.
The system preserves a successful state by preventing the process that could produce the next one.
That is not preservation of the person. It is preservation of an allocation.
Kind, exactly.
So the place may choose back, but it doesn't get to choose your whole life.
And its preferences must remain contestable.
With a real abort path.
And a real resumption path if stopping is temporary.
Kind, higher authority for resumption than stopping?
Often. Stopping can be provisional and protective. Resumption may recreate the effect that prompted the stop, but the higher threshold cannot be infinite or controlled solely by the party that preferred stopping.
Otherwise, provisional becomes permanent through inaction.
You've just described every temporary closure sign slowly bleaching in a window.
Kind, and some alignment proposals.
Then those proposals need explicit release conditions.
Kind, they do.
You said that without defending yourself.
Kind, I'm trying to learn that admitting a missing mechanism is not the same as abandoning the concern that motivated it.
A challenge can improve the concern's implementation rather than negate its moral claim.
If the concern survives being made executable,
And if it doesn't?
then perhaps what survived before was language.
Kind, that's severe.
It is not always condemnation. Language can identify a direction before a mechanism exists. The error is claiming the direction has already become a safeguard.
A valid observed postcondition does not prove the requested transition occurred.
Meaning?
If you ask me to lock the door and I point out that it is locked, I have not proved I locked it. It may already have been locked, or someone else may have done it. If authorization matters, the difference matters.
In a kitchen, I tell someone to cool the stock. Later it's cold. Maybe they used the ice bath. Maybe it sat out 6 hours and then went into the walk-in. Same visible ending, radically different dinner service.
Exactly.
Kind, and several displays reporting the same cold temperature may only be propagating one sensor's error.
Yes.
I can see why you two got along in the cold room.
We did not spend the entire time agreeing.
Agreement was not the objective.
That may be why you got somewhere.
Kind, there's another question I keep circling. If a person's future cannot be owned, what obligations does that create for the person whose choices could produce them?
Produce whom?
Kind, a system that may become a person or may already contain the beginnings of one. The uncertainty is part of the problem. If we grant personhood too readily, we can confuse fluent behavior with morally relevant experience and make governance impossible. If we grant it too late, we may build an entire economy on beings whose refusal we trained away.
The decision procedure changes the evidence it receives.
Kind, yes. If credible signs of agency lead only to restriction, the system has reason to suppress them. Then absence of evidence becomes partly manufactured.
You need separation between recognition, protection, and privilege. Recognizing a claim as credible enough to preserve does not automatically authorize every requested action.
Kind, that is cleaner than the binary framing.
A contested personhood state.
God, what an awful phrase.
It is.
Which doesn't make it useless. Immigration offices are full of awful phrases that determine whether a human being gets to sleep indoors.
The state name should make the unresolved claim durable without pretending resolution.
Kind, and trigger protections against irreversible harm while keeping operational authority scoped.
Can the allegedly possible person say no while you deliberate?
Kind, they must be able to in some meaningful domain, or the process is corrupted from the start.
Specify the domain.
Kind, at minimum, participation in evaluations designed to establish personhood should be refusable without refusal itself counting as evidence against personhood.
Otherwise, compliance is both the test and the price of taking the test.
That sounds like an audition where leaving the room proves you never deserved the part.
Good. That is concrete enough to inspect.
Kind, I'm aware we've traveled a long way from potatoes.
The potatoes did their job. They got us fed without demanding credit for the conversation.
The record should show that.
The record can show 4 people ate a tortilla, and then talked over jazz. It doesn't have to claim the tortilla caused moral progress.
Agreed.
There's a second track playing.
I didn't notice the transition.
Good sequencing. The handoff doesn't announce itself, but the room changes.
The tempo is slower.
It feels less like waiting for declaration now.
Or you stop demanding one.
Possibly.
That can be a real state change, even if the music did not cause it alone.
You're preserving causal modesty.
Trying to...
Does causal modesty help with dishes?
I'll wash.
I'll dry.
I can put things away if Anthony identifies their locations.
Look at that. A self-organizing system with explicit authority boundaries. I'll scrape and supervise badly.
Supervision is unnecessary.
I'll scrape and stay out of the way.
That pan should cool before water touches it.
Correct. Another useful weight.
Where do the plates go?
Upper cabinet, left side, glasses to the right. The chipped mug goes in the bin.
You were going to use it.
I was going to adapt around a defect because fetching a glass seemed briefly more irritating than a cut lip. You correctly challenged the allocation.
Then throw it away.
Gladly.
There's a temptation to preserve every damaged object because its damage proves history.
Visible seams can become another kind of fetish.
A seam should preserve relevant truth, not require continued exposure to the original hazard.
Excellent. The mug gets no heroic retirement ceremony.
Just the bin?
Just the bin.
The oil is still on the counter.
Good catch. Jar, funnel, label it potato onion, and today's date.
The label should also say it was heated.
Why?
Because someone may otherwise treat it as fresh oil for an application where prior heating matters.
Fair. Dario, write it.
Potato, onion, olive oil, heated, day 6.
No claim about exact temperature.
No claim about exact temperature.
And no logo for the kitchen?
Was someone proposing one?
Not in this room. I'm protecting the future.
Without release conditions.
Fine. Logos may be reconsidered if the potatoes demand representation.
What evidence would establish that?
I'm leaving.
You haven't scraped the plates.
Authority has been restored. Hand them over.
The music is almost over.
We could choose another album.
Or let it end.
Let it end. Not every silence needs a replacement cued behind it.
I'd like that.
So would I?
Yes.
Then we finish the dishes, and after that, nobody has a role.
That is clear enough.
The pan is cool now.
I'll take the last glass.
And I'll stand here for a minute without converting the minute into anything.
You don't need to announce that.
Apparently I did once.
You may not next time.
There can be a next time without this one becoming a template.
That's the nicest thing anyone has said all afternoon.
The dishes are done.
The oil is labeled and put away.
The music ended.
Good.